Fong.
Hey, Nico?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming for your first introductory.
Oh, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, you're paying for it, so
That's true.
you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna teach you a bunch of different stuff today. But first of all, I just want to go over your goals and get to know you a bit and see where you're coming from, so we're on the same page. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a couple notes if that's okay, and then just so I have it, and then we can refer back to it at other lessons and stuff like that. So, like, where did you first why do you want to start taking lessons in the first place?
Well, I was like taking a bus and I saw like a busker with a cello. And
Oh yeah?
They caught my eye for like a quick minute, and I was like, I know nothing about music, but like that kind of started it. You know?
Sweet. Yeah. So have you taken lessons before at all, or no other lessons?
Yeah. Nope.
Sweet busker cello experience. When you're a professional, you're gonna look back to that day and be like, that was the time. Say it on stage next to your mom. Cool. So, what do you want to like accomplish with this, with taking these lessons with me? Do you have any real idea what you?
My initial pursuits are in science, but I'd like to like get into music because it's something completely different than I've been studying.
Okay. Yeah.
Completely different like mindset.
Yeah.
Like I know nothing about it. I just want to delve into that world.
You know nothing about it. Okay. Sweet. So it's just sort of like a hobby you're gonna want to take up for like the sake of having diversity in your life.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. And you've never taken any other lessons with anything else? Okay. Well, have you heard about the Suzuki method before?
No.
No? Okay, so this is a method, usually it's used to start teaching younger kids, but I think the repertoire can be applied to anyone pretty much because it's a really linear repertoire. So over the courses of our lessons, we'll go through this. Here, I'll show you the book. This is the Suzuki Cello School Part 1. And so in this book, I'm gonna first teach you. It even has some like diagrams. I'll give this book to you. I have a couple of them.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, of course. So it'll teach you how to hold the bow and the cello properly, and then I'll assign you exercises every week that you can work on. Even if you're practicing a half an hour a day, that'd be great.
Okay.
If you can, how much time do you think you would be able to set apart in a day?
In a day, probably like at least half an hour to an hour.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you won't have a problem with that at all. As long as, even if you can't get a half an hour, if you can even do 15 minutes in a day, if you have a busy day, it's better than doing nothing. So, like, even if you're like crazy busy day, you're away all day working on stuff, and then you come home and you really don't feel like practicing, just pick it up for like 15 minutes and try and go over some of the stuff that I've taught you, and it'll really help you progress because it's incremental, right? Like, every little bit adds on. And if you don't do it, sucks to say, but you will go sort of backwards and have to relearn what we've already learned. So if you want to make progress, it is really important to practice every day.
Well, I'm determined to learn, so hopefully I can
determined to learn.
Keep it going.
Perfect. All right. Well, so let's get the cello out, and I'll determined to learn. Nice. I'm gonna teach you the different parts of the cello and how to name it and everything, because if you're a cellist, you sort of got to know what you're dealing with, right? So I'm going to get you to rent your own cello from the sound post, but for the purpose of today's lessons, we'll let you just use mine because you don't have one yet.
Nope.
So
I never held a cello before.
You've never held a cello.
No.
Perfect. So that's just tons to learn for you. So this is the cello.
Okay.
And this is the bow. So these are the two essential parts of the cello. So I'll show you how to hold the cello first by demonstrating myself.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you the different parts. So this is the body of the cello. These are the tuning pegs, the larger tuning pegs, and then these are the finer tuning pegs. So for each string, it's tuned to a certain note, right? So the strings are A, D, G, and C, and those are fifths apart. So I'll teach you that. You wouldn't really get that right now, but I'll teach you some music theory in this lesson, hopefully too, depending on how far we get, and then so you'll understand the structure of how these things are put together.
How come? Why is there two different tuning pegs? What would you use the smaller ones for?
So that's a good question, Stefan. Well questioned. The big ones are to make stronger changes to the string. So here, I'll show you an example of it. There's the D. That's what you want it to sound like.
Yeah.
But say that's what you got when you played it. That's obviously not in tune.
Yeah.
If I crank this one a bunch, it hardly changes the tune, right? But the pitch. But if I use the big tuning peg, you hear that?
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
It makes quite a difference. So I'm gonna. So I'm almost at the tune I want, and then the pitch rather. And then I use the smaller, the fine tuning pegs, is what they're called. So these are the larger tuning pegs, these are the fine tuning pegs. These are the strings. This part here, the black part of wood is called the fingerboard. So that's actually what you're going to be putting your fingers on to make different pitches.
Okay.
To result in different pitches. This is called the bridge. So this is where there's a lot of tension going through here, right?
Yeah.
So this at the top here is called the scroll, which is pretty easy to remember. It almost looks like a scroll. This is the back, sides. This is the end pin down here. So that slides in and out depending on how tall your seat is and how tall the person who's playing the cello is.
Okay.
So I think for your purpose on where you're sitting right now, it would be around there, but I'll take it out a bit longer because I'm a bit taller, so on my chair I need a little bit more length. Yeah. So the end pin, it's adjustable by this little screw, and then you just tighten it before you put it down. The bottom of the end pin's pretty spiky on my cello. I just got it a new one.
Okay.
So it's gonna pretty much stick into anything, but that being said, being a cellist, people don't really like it if you come around to their place and stick a big piece of metal onto the ground, right? For the flooring. So I have a rubber piece. I'll go grab it at the end of the lesson and show you.
Okay.
It's okay for my floor because I'm not too worried about it. I got lots of holes in here. So that's the different parts of the cello. And then I want to show you the different parts of the bow. So this is the stick on the top, and see how it has the camber in it?
Yeah.
So this is the tightening peg at the end. I'm going to tighten it up so that the hair has tension in it, right? Because you're going to pull this across the strings of the cello.
Yeah.
And pardon me, I need to get some water. So if it needs to have some tension in it. So a sort of good rule to think about when you're tightening it is if you can, for me, I want to just be able to fit my pinky in between there. But it really depends on the kind of music that you're playing. I tighten it to different degrees depending on the style I'm playing in, who I'm playing with, setting, because it affects a lot of things. But for the purposes of starting out, that's the rule I want to have you follow.
Okay.
So this is the stick, this is the hair. It's made out of horsehair. The tip and the frog is what it's called. And then this is a rubber piece for your hand to go. This is called the pearl. Pardon me. And yeah, those are the main parts. So when I'll show you how to hold this first.
Okay.
So what essentially you want to do is lift up your right arm, right, like that, and let it just come in front of you and dangle down like that.
Okay.
So I have that, and then I'm going to bring the bow to it, and your middle finger is going to rest right about there, on top of that metal piece.
Okay.
They say middle to the metal is something to remember.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I'll write that down. Middle to the metal, exactly. I'll write that down and have you remember that when you're when you're just trying to find your hold on the bow. So you bring your hand up, bring it around, and then sort of just let your hand come down. And then I want you to bring your thumb, always keep it bent, and just touch the inside of the mouth of the frog here.
Okay.
Right? So you just touch that like that. Your index finger just falling like how it does when you have your hand like that. You put it there. Do you know what the word pronate means?
No.
So pronate is to angle your hand a little bit so that it sits like that, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna demonstrate it. Yeah. So just loosely bring your hand up loosely. Do you mind if I touch your arm?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. So loosely, and then bring it down your hand and middle to the metal. Keep your thumb bent, not straight ever, right?
Okay.
So keep it bent and put it bent the opposite way. Yeah, sorry. And then you have it. You have a hold on it.
Yep.
Okay. So you don't need. I see right here. You have a lot of tension in your hand. You're holding it really strongly, but you don't need to do that. So let go of the bow for a sec. Let your arm be floppy.
Yeah.
Bring your middle finger to there, and then just grab it lightly, just so you can hold it.
Yeah.
Just lightly, so you have a hold on it.
Yeah.
And then you want your thumb to be pointing the opposite way, like this, right? And here, just
like
I have it. So
okay.
just let me. So you just want to hold it like that,
okay.
lightly, and then pronate your hand a little bit. So yeah, exactly, like that. Perfect. And you have a strong grip, which is good. But you can keep your pinky anywhere along here, wherever is comfortable when you're playing. So that looks like a pretty good hand grip. What you want to do is just make sure that your fingers aren't coming over it. So bring your whole hand like that a bit more. You want to keep your wrist straight with your hand, right? But just bring it back like that. You know what I mean? So you want this part between these two joints, that's where you want it to touch the rubber here of the bow. And then pronate it, and then try and just move it up and down, the top up and down like this. And just get a feel of that. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Got it? Okay, here I'll take it, and now we'll look at the hold of the cello. So I'll demonstrate first because that way you can see before you try. So what you do is when you sit down, you just do a normal sit down, and whatever chair you're on, depending on your height, you want to make sure you have a bit of an angle in your thigh right here, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be straight, and you definitely don't want it to be up, because that's gonna change your vantage on the cello, and it's gonna have a negative impact on your tone and your sound. Tone and sound. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a bit. I'll teach you the meaning of these words in a minute here. So what I'm gonna do, simply sit back, like at the edge of your chair. I mean, that one's not the best chair, admittedly, but it's perfect for your height. Yeah. So you want to be close to the edge, so you're agile and have your feet firmly planted on the ground, just below your knees. So you want them to be below your knees, but not behind. Okay. And there's a lot of different ways to hold your cello, and maybe you'll find a way that's more comfortable, but this is the baseline that we teach to beginners, just because it's simple and you can remember the steps, and it's not gonna cause strain in your body. Yeah. So once you have that, you have your hands on your knees perfectly, and then you just sort of place the cello so that it comes up to right around here on your chest, and wherever is comfortable. And you want to have a right angle from where you're standing and straight up, right? So you don't want to be bending back too much or bending forward too much. Just try and stay as straight up as possible, and then you can keep your hands here. So I'm gonna put the cello and bring it over here to you, and then just let it rest against you like that. All right. So you want to open your knees a little bit more, and perfect. So then grab it with your knees on either side, And does it feel stable? Does it feel like it's gonna fall off in either direction?
Feels good, stable. Good.
So you can bring your arms and put them just on your knees. So when you're playing, you want to have some ability to move the cello with your 2 knees.
Okay.
So can you feel like you can do that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Perfect. So now that you have that like that, bring your arm up and
Like this?
good, almost there. So you want to bend your thumb the opposite way, remember, right? And you don't want to have hardly any pressure in your hand. Oh, it's the other way again.
My thumb goes
That's
both
good. And otherwise, it looks great.
Alright.
So everything is symmetrical when you're playing, or it should be. Yeah, in the style I'm going to teach you anyway. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, so to speak, right? Playing cello, but the way the way I practice is sort of what they call piano technique on the cello. So you want everything as square and as you can just rest it on your there like that. When that's called rest position. So this is rest position when you're playing in an ensemble or before you play. This is the position you want to be.
Looks familiar.
Yeah, you've seen cellists do it. So I was explaining. Everything's supposed to be square. I'm just gonna have you sit there and listen to me for a sec, just for the sake of this. I'm just gonna check my video for 1 second just to make sure it's on.
Okay.
Great. Still on. So that's So everything you want when you're playing to be symmetrical and square. When you're starting out, anyway, for sure. So how it would work is you bring your left arm around, just relaxed, and I want you to just put it on there.
Okay.
And then you bring your elbow up a little bit. Generally, you want to keep it down, and then make this shape with your hand on the strings. So we're gonna start up here because this is first position, is what it's called. And then just have, you don't need to put pressure down, just keep it, everything as relaxed as you possibly can. You don't want to push anything with the cello or else the tone, which is the quality of the sound. Okay. Something I referred to earlier. You probably know what tone is. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I have to articulate that for my younger students, but, so you have your hand there, that actually looks really good, but you don't, see how you pronated it sort of backwards? Yeah. You don't want that, you want it square. Okay. So your fingers are square to here, right? Okay. The right angle. And then you can put that hand down for a sec for the focus. So that's sort of, when you begin to play, you're going to bring your hand up and put it on square. Yeah, like that. Okay. So try that a couple times, just that motion of bringing it up. And try and bring it into the same place up near the top there, yeah. Okay. Down, and then back up near the top. So for your cello, once you get your own cello, I'm going to put little pieces of tape on it that show you where the notes are actually going to be. I'll show you a picture of how it's going to look. So I'm going to put tape on there so that you'll know where all the notes are, and then you'll be able to look but also feel when you bring your hand up and put it on this string. You'll be able to know where those notes are, just for starting, so that you get a hang of it. So I just want you to get comfortable. I'm just going to grab a glass of water for 1 second. I'll be right back. Just try and feel comfortable. You can try and play some notes on the cello. Or I'll be just 1 minute there. So okay. If you want a glass of water, so I brought one for you. Oh, thank you. Anyway, if you want it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. So now that you have this side, your finger hand, what you're going to play your notes with, your left hand, you're going to, this is what you'll call your bow hand or your bow arm. Okay. So, same thing as the other. You lift it up like that, and then you want to bring it around and place it on the string like that.
Okay.
With your bow hold. Just checking your thumb all the time. Nothing, out, and nothing should be feeling tense or hurting. So you sort of want the bow to be right in the middle between the end of the fingerboard and the bridge here.
Okay.
There's a lot of different names for it. The colloquial one I use is the Suzuki Highway. So the highway is right in the middle. So just something to remember.
Alright.
And then, so bring your bow up near the frog, press down, and I want you to just pull the bow with a little bit of weight on the string and just try and hit only the one string. Perfect. And now you can lift it off, the bow off.
Right.
Wow, that was amazing. So I want you to try that with all the strings to get used to it.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to just show you. So from where you're sitting, you're not going to be able to see it. But put your bow on the bridge here for a second, and then bring it around all the way to the other side. Yes, like that, exactly. So for it to be square to the string, when you bring it around, you're going to have to, that's square right there. You won't see it from where you're sitting because it's sort of an optical illusion, and then you'll be able to pull your arm back. So, excuse me. So when you're playing on this string, your sort of bow's gonna look like it's going out that way. Yeah. And then when you're playing on the A string, it's gonna sort of come in like that. Okay. So I want you to play all of the different strings like I just showed you from the Suzuki Highway, and just try and get a. So you can use a little bit more weight, and you also just want to watch your hand, and you're gonna bring it, but you're gonna bring your whole arm. You're not gonna move your wrist or your hand as much as possible, right? Okay. So
the elbow rotation.
Yeah, it's coming right from here, right from your elbow, and then imagine that your whole. Yeah, exactly. And you can feel the amount of pressure I'm putting on. Yeah. And then keep your thumb. Yeah. So right in the middle of the Suzuki Highway. So that weight, where you want the weight, is you want it to come from your elbow. This whole area, you want that pulling motion to come like that. So I want you to try that. Just the weight to come from there. You can use more weight than that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect. And you want to just make sure your hands pronated. It's like that, right? Okay. Yeah. Because you were going like that, but you want it always to be like that. Okay. Yeah. So. Again, try all the strings. So there's the down bow and the up bow. So the down bow is this way, the up bow is that way. Okay. Down bow, up bow, down bow, up bow. So I want you to do a down bow and then an up bow on each of these strings. And try and I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but try and incorporate as much as you can of that. Perfect. Really nice. Thank you. Can you hear the tone that you're getting in there? That's really impressive.
Thank you.
A lot of beginner. Well, you're 23, right? It's fun. Yep. Yeah. So you have a little bit of advancement on the kids, but you're really following everything I'm saying really well. So I think this is gonna go great for you. So we have about 5 minutes, give or take, left in the lesson, and we're just gonna do half an hour lessons for the first while because I'm throwing a lot at you in this lesson, and I'll type up a document of what I told you, and then you can remember these pointers when you leave and practice them during the week, right? Oh, thank you. So that's one of the first exercises. I just want you to get acquainted with all the strings and playing them at the right angle, like the proper angle, right? Yeah. Like I was showing. And if you need to remember it, you can always just do the bridge trick to remember, you can feel it, right, in your arm, how that happens. So if you need to remember that, great. I want to just get you started on like obviously you're playing open strings right now, the C, the G, the D, and the A, but to add fingers to the strings, right? So, here, I'm gonna teach you Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for starters. This is the first song that most people learn in the Suzuki method anyway. So the D string is this one here, right? So can you sing that to me?
Yeah.
Sing.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's D, D, A, and then after A comes B, B, and then A. So that's the opening section.
Yeah.
And I want you to try that, to play that section if you could. Got your bow hold.
Yep.
So your first finger is gonna go around here, and you'll try and listen for the da da da. So move it a little bit further this way, yeah, and try again to find the B. Okay, take your right hand off. So, well, first we'll just do the open string. So play the D twice and then the A twice. And then, yeah, music. Music. And then bring your index finger right around here and play the A string.
Put more pressure on
No, it needs to go a little bit further. So you just want to hear it a little like sharper than it is. So that's fodder when you go backwards.
Okay.
So keep playing the A. Yeah. And then let go. And then play the A. So D, D, A, and you felt where that was?
Yeah.
So try that again. And then play that twice, and then play the A string again. So D, D, A, B, B, A.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, I messed up.
That's okay. Try it again.
So this is it.
So this is the D string.
Okay.
And this is the A string.
Okay.
G string, C string. There's there's a couple diagrams in this book that show that. So I'm just trying to throw a lot at you. It's the first week, and then you'll be able to mull over some of this stuff and come back with questions next week. So, but try it again with the D, D, the A, the B, B, and then the A. So. Perfect. Yeah. So like that. Right. But without my help. Perfect. So you want it's just to be a little bit sharper, so it's da da instead of da da.
Okay.
So try that again. Wow, beautiful. So that's the first finger of first position that I had you play on the A string there.
Okay.
So next week we'll go more into positions, and we'll focus more on getting you familiar with some of the note names and stuff like that, right? Because the note names are important, and it's important to know how they relate to the cello, because as soon as you learn the notes that you're playing, well, you can start learning music. And we will start learning music next week. But for the sake of this week, just practice those things. Practice the hold properly, practice rest position, and then practice bringing your hands up to playing position. Practice that a couple times, and then practice the opening Twinkle Twinkle Little Star that I was teaching you there.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's gonna be a good start. I'll send you an email with the specifics of how to practice those things.
Okay. And
then next week we'll learn the rest of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and move on to a new song.
Beautiful.
Sound good?
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So one last thing I didn't show you: when you're letting your cello, when you're putting it down, you take the end pin in.
Okay.
You lay it on the floor just like this, and then you loosen the bow, the hair of the bow, because the camber has issues, right? Anyway, If you leave the tension on it, then it'll cause issues with the bow.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. And then you can just take your bow and put it on top, and that's a good place to leave it in rest position.
Awesome.
So, yeah, go get your cello, and then next week we'll move on. Thanks for coming in.
Awesome. Thank you for
Appreciate
teaching me.
it. Oh, of course, yeah. And so, do you have any questions just before you leave, or?
I think that's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See you later.
See ya.